Hey guys, so I'm re-uploading this video from earlier this year, and the reason I'm re-uploading it is because there was an error with when I first uploaded it. Basically, like it was successful, of course, because it was public online and people saw it and commented on it. But a problem was, for some reason, it said like it's the uploading failed, and then ever since I've uploaded that video, it's constantly been like coming up telling me like this upload has failed. When obviously that Snow White and the Three Stooges video has been successful in being uploaded, and I was thinking like maybe for some reason it was uploading it twice, and one of the uploads worked, but the other one didn't. So I deleted the one that was saying upload failed. But then unfortunately, because of that, it meant that I deleted the one that was public on YouTube. Um, so that's why I'm re-uploading it now. So I'm doing this, telling you why I re-uploaded it, and this is a review from earlier this year. I think it probably still holds up. It's just that was back that was back when I still had to wear my retainer during the daytime. I don't anymore. But yeah, hope you still enjoy this review, guys. Hey guys, so today I'm going to review the Three Stooges film, Snow White and the Three Stooges. So yes, so of course this was made during the Curly Joe era, that being Curly Joe, still Moe and Larry, but yeah. But of course, the only other film, well, I've seen three films from the Curly Joe era with the Three Stooges, but only two of them are proper Three Stooges films. So obviously one of them is this one, Snow White and the Three Stooges. Then one is it's Mad 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 World, which they only have a cameo in, but that is a great cameo. Very short cameo, very brief cameo, and yeah, it is with Curly Joe in this, and yeah, this is a great movie. And then the third one is The Outlaws Is Coming, which I've watched when they aired it on Talking Pictures TV, and I'll review that soon. So yeah, and basically like the plot of this is, well, if you know the story of Snow White, of course, yeah, you have the evil queen who wants to kill Snow White because she wants to become the fairest in the land, and Snow White is the one standing in her way, and so she has a huntsman to kill her, but he can't do it, and they're in the woods, and she ends up running away to a cottage and staying there, and but then what makes this one different is basically it was years prior. The same huntsman who was hired to kill Snow White, he was also hired to kill the prince when he was a boy. But then the Three Stooges end up saving him. And in this, the Three Stooges are magicians and also kind of con men. And they end up raising the prince, and they call him Quattro because he's the fourth member of them. And he has a puppet who's called Quinto because he's the fifth one. And the puppet is actually, when he does the puppet, it's voiced by Mel Blanc, the man with 1,000 voices, and the voice he does for Quinto sounds a lot like Bugs Bunny. So yeah, and I mean, this is of course Curly Joe. I will say Curly Joe, not always the biggest fan of him from what the films I've seen of him, but I do love Moe and Larry, and they're still pretty good in this. And I mean, I love Curly, and I love Shemp as well before this. And after Shemp, they had, of course, Joe Besser as Joe, and I've seen a bit of that, and he's not the best. And after that, of course, after Joe Besser, they had another Joe Dorita. So since they already had another Joe, they decided to call him Curly Joe. But yeah, they kind of, as his name kind of shows, they were kind of trying to make him a bit too much like Curly, which I kind of had a problem with. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a decent enough film, really. I was, it's released by 20th Century Fox. It's similar to a DVD release I have for Soup to Nuts, which was their first ever feature film, which is also by 20th Century Fox. If you look at them, and also like at the sides, and the backs, very similar. Very similar releases there, aren't they? But yeah, I mean, I heard apparently with this film, the Three Stooges themselves hated it, and Mo Howard even called it like a Technicolor disaster. But I mean, I think there is some fun stuff. I mean, I like at the beginning when there's like the narration and it's going through a storybook and like the Three Stooges are being in there when they're not supposed to, and they're hitting each other and all that. And then like the narrator says like, you may be wondering what the Three Stooges have to do with this. Um, well, it's because this version is Snow White and the Three Stooges. So yeah. So in this one, the way they find the Three Stooges are also, the substitutes for the seven dwarfs. The house that Snow White hides in is the dwarf's house, but they're on like holiday in this, and the Three Stooges and Quattro, they rent out that house, and they do mention that it is the seven dwarfs' house. So I do like they do acknowledge them, but the seven dwarfs themselves are not in this movie. But yeah, and in that way, Quattro, the prince, he ends up falling in love with Snow White, and Snow White's played by Carol Heiss, who's like a famous ice skater, and like the funny thing is the castle all around it is all like snowy, and and it says that she loved the winter time, and that's interesting. Of course, it's her name is Snow White, so she loves the snow, but it's like usually you don't associate the story of Snow White with the snow itself. So I mean, that's a pretty interesting choice they made with this. And of course, later on in the story, the queen, she disguises herself to trick, the Snow White into eating the poisoned apple. And in other versions, you could say she becomes a witch there, but in this one, she like literally is a witch, and she like has a witch's hat, and like she rides on a broomstick, that you don't see in other versions. She flies in a broomstick to the cottage, but then when she gets there, she disguises herself as like a gypsy. So so of course, this is a UK DVD, as you can see by the rating, and it does say the title is Snow White and the Three Stooges on this, of course. But apparently, when this was first released in the UK, the title was actually changed to Snow White and the Three Clowns. And I looked up the reason why, and I found on like a Three Stooges like forum the reason why. I'm pretty sure this is the reason. But apparently, in like the 60s in the UK, the word stooge had become a slang term for sexual intercourse, so that's why they changed it. So then after that, I did look up stooge being a slang term for sex, and apparently, it did come up with that. So I'm guessing that is the reason why they changed it. But despite that name change, the Three Stooges themselves were still credited as the Three Stooges in the UK release of the film, but it was just the title was changed to Snow White and the Three Clowns. And I mean, you do have English actors in this, like I think that the woman who plays the evil queen, she's called like Patricia Medina. She's an English actress. I looked up, and like her assistant, who's played by a guy named Guy Rolfe. I looked up; he's English. He was English as well. I mean, I think having like English actors in this sort of fantasy setting is good. I think did I mention before Carol Heiss, who is an ice skater who plays Snow White. She's actually still alive today, which is pretty interesting. But she's American, and the prince is American, and of course the Stooges are American. But you do have English actors as well. A lot of them working for the Queen. You do also have there's a servant who was this old lady who worked with. Who served for the prince before he was, taken away and raised by the Stooges, and she was played by Blossom Rock. I know her for being Grandmama in the old Addams Family TV show, which is pretty cool. One problem I do have with the movie is like there's a lot of stuff. There's kind of too much stuff without the Three Stooges, and a lot of the stuff without them in it kind of feels like a completely different movie. I will say one movie that I think kind of does it better. If you want to see a movie that's with a classic comedy team in a fairy tale setting, a much better film is actually the Laurel and Hardy's March of the Wooden Soldiers, also known as Babes in Toyland. Babes in Toyland is, of course, the name of the operetta that it's based on, and but I kind of prefer the title March of the Wooden Soldiers because that's exclusive to that separates it from other versions. And I also have it on this German DVD here. This movie is amazing. this is my favourite Laurel and Hardy feature film, and I do remember hearing Leonard Maltin saying something about this film, which I completely agreed with him on, which was that the fairy tale elements don't take away from the comedy or vice versa. But with this, I did actually kind of think that it does seem like it's two different movies. Like half of it is like this serious fantasy movie, and then half of it is a fun like Three Stooges comedy movie. But I mean, I think this is a decent enough film. But yeah, but I think this is a much better movie when it comes to a classic comedy team being in a fairy tale setting. And of course, this one was filmed in color. Of course, whereas most Three Stooges things were in black and white. This was the first thing they did in color. And, the only one of their films they did in the 60s that was in color. I know, like, there was a thing, Kook's Tour, there was a thing, was like a TV movie. I think that was in color. And they also did like the Three Stooges cartoon, which had like live action segments. And, I know those segments were in color as well. But yeah, most of the other stuff they did was in black and white. Of course, they colorized it later, but yeah, most of the stuff was in black and white. But I do think the colors in this are nice. I think the ice skating scenes are pretty fun. I mean, there is this kind of weird dream sequence that Snow White has where she's ice skating with the prince, and like then the evil queen comes on, and also the Three Stooges come on, and you can very obviously tell that the Three Stooges are stunt doubles, and you also have like the puppet Quattro. When they're like ice skating, they're obviously doubles. Then there's like a close up of them, slapping each other. You can tell that's really them, but when they're skating, it's obviously stunt doubles. And you also get what's kind of weird is you get the puppet Quinto. He's like skating. It's like a child in like a mask, and it's kind of weird, but yeah. But yeah, it's an enjoyable enough film. I mean, it's alright. It's definitely worth a watch if you're a big Three Stooges fan like I am. So yeah, thanks for watching, and next time I'll review The Outlaws Is Coming. So yeah, see. Okay, so I realised that video ended a bit abruptly. I think I was about to say see ya, but I was cut off abruptly. So I'll just say now, see ya. Hope you still enjoyed that old review. Well, it's not that old, it's earlier this year, but yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and bye.